Yeah, that's recording. Okay, so if you introduce yourself and what the event is.
Hi, I'm Zach. I've worked in wine for 10 years now, and from this Thursday today, I'm hosting wine tastings at the Grak on Gloucester Road. They'll be monthly, based around a theme, and just a quite approachable way for people to try several different wines that alongside stories and knowledge on those wines.
Cool. So the flyer reads monthly wine tasting events with Zach. Each month, a flight of at least 6 wines taken, and learn about the growers, the famous and maverick grape varieties. So what's maverick about these ones?
So today I'm going to be hosting a tasting on Portugal. Portugal is quite unique in that in the dictatorship years it wasn't influenced by the bigger grape varieties that you get all over France, your Cab Sauv, your Merlot, your Malbec, and they've got over 250 indigenous grape varieties. Pretty much every single wine tonight will have quite distinct grape varieties to Portugal. Grape varieties that people know, Taringa Nacional, which I'm going to do in quite an interesting way because it's going to be presented through a rosé wine as opposed to red. There's some heavy Douro blends, but yeah, it kind of goes over 4 different regions of northern Portugal, which account for most of the production.
Right, sorry if I misheard, is your second name D'Amelio?
Yes.
Right, and your middle name's Luca?
My middle name's just Luke.
Oh, right, Luke. Okay, cool. So, where does that name come from?
It's Italian in origin, but my...
Well, it did sound Italian.
Yes. I don't know any Italian. My family moved after the Second World War.
Right,
so.
Okay. Whereabouts in Italy was that?
Abruzzo, so quite famous for Pecorino and Montepulciano d'Abruzzo.
Is that more southern?
More southern. If you draw a line horizontally from Rome, you'll come into Abruzzo, and they're just from the southern part of Abruzzo as it hits kind of the border with Puglia, which is famous for like Burrata, Primitivo. Yeah. Right,
and I mean, you're not going to offend anyone. You've got those Italian good looks as well. That's always goes down a tree, I think. But, and so, can you name what's the opener and the closer tonight, and we'll leave the middle ones up to what happens.
Oof. So I kind of wanted to keep some of it mysterious, right. But today there's actually going to be 8 wines. I'm going to start with an aperitif wine, which I wasn't actually planning to do, but the first event's ticket sales went very well, so I thought I'd just add it as a bonus. It means that I can add a different region on. It's something just sharp and acidic from Bareda to kind of start the evening off. And then as the final wine for the evening...
Is that just a dessert wine?
It's, I kind of went down a different route. So there's a very lovely, one of my favourite port houses on the Douro is Quinta della Rossa, which kind of originates from the grandmother of the family being passed down this piece of land. So it's in prime ports territory. It's a very small quinta, but it covers quite a range of geographical features, and they're quite renowned for making drier styles of port. I've actually got a white port, and it's an extra dry white port. So I'm going to pour a little bit for people to try as on its own individually, and then I'm just going to add a splash of tonic in. It's very popular to have like a white port spritz.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's enough. That's enough information about tonight. What about your knowledge in general? So this is questions I have of a wine expert, right? Is there an Italian equivalent of champagne that is specific to that region that can only be called that name based on where it's grown?
Yeah, so you get Franciacorta, which is from northern Italy. They tend to be dominated more by Chardonnay, so they're usually Blanc de Blancs. I work with several now, and in terms of value for money, it tends to be better value for money than champagne, but you're still talking £30 a bottle.
What type of is it? Is that sparkling or is that a
sparkling?
It is. Right.
Champagne grapes, champagne methods, traditional methods. just made outside of Champagne in northern Italy. You get a little bit more heat, but because it's grown at quite high altitude, you get quite good acidity too.
Are they small grapes like Champagne is? Am I wrong on that? Champagne grapes are quite small.
So Champagne can consist of three main grape varieties. Pinot Noir, which tends to be relatively small grapes. The Pinot in that word kind of refers to the grapes looking like a pine cone, so on the vine.
So they're more like rugby ball shaped, like that kind of thing. Like when we say pine cone, I'm thinking that kind of rhombus, that kind of.
So the grapes are very small, but they sit like that. I'm making awful suggestions with my hands right now, but imagine a pine cone hanging from a tree. The grapes kind of sit in a bunch, looking like a pine cone.
Oh, okay.
But the grapes themselves.
Yeah. What you mean a pine cone? You mean those little bits on a pine cone?
Yes.
Each of those are grapes. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And Chardonnay's the big one. Tends to have slightly thicker skins, produce quite buttery textured wines.
The skins are what you make grappa out of, aren't they?
Yes.
Oh, I know that's Greek, isn't it?
I mean, grappa's like a type of brandy essentially. So it's fortified, if I'm right. I don't drink much grappa.
I remember.
You get grappa.
I remember very bad work days in the office after being treated to a couple of glasses of earlier.
Grappa, the only time, so grappa's like a brandy you get all over Italy, and the only time I've really ever enjoyed it was at an Italian wedding of all places, and I don't think I've ever enjoyed tasting it too much.
It's like a house party when you're a kid and
Yes.
you first have your first drink a whole bottle of Baileys and you never go back to a
You want to throw a match on the
thing.
glass and watch it go up in flames.
Yeah. I remember like reading the first interview ever with Marco Pierre White, and he's there lighting sambucas all over the place, and it's probably just like.
I had my first ever flaming sambuca as a 13-year-old at an Italian funeral.
A funeral?
Of all places.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Liven up the occasion.
But it's it's probably less superior sambuca than Marco Pierre White though. Would say.
It's Italian. Is that not anisette? Or is that not anisette if it's in Italy?
No, I'll be honest. Sambuca's one of those drinks that I try to avoid a lot. Yeah, it's more whiskey. I could probably advise better.
What's your favourite non-single malt whiskey? So your favourite blend?
There's several.
I'm a Johnny Walker Black guy.
Okay, yeah. Compass Box are a Scottish group that have had a long history with kind of lots of whiskey distilleries all over Scotland. They produce tons, and every single one of their bottles I quite like. Their Orchard House is kind of a play on Speyside, and it's very summery. It's kind of the whiskey you would drink in the garden on its own, and it's very fruity, very kind of it lasts long in the mouth. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a bottler version of a Macallan that I had once. But they also do PT expressions. I do slightly, like when I first got into whiskey, definitely preferred the more smoky PT whiskies, and then now that
can go too far.
Yeah, I
have had my palate stripped by a smoky whiskey once, and I might as well have just had 2 cigarettes and a bottle of Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? So when it comes to single malt, do you always add a bit of water to that, or do you need more meat?
Depending on the percentage, if I'm sitting at home, almost certainly. I'm one of those people that like to pour a little glass, and as I take each sip, just add a little bit more. There's definitely some truth in that.
So you adjust the ratios as it goes down, kind of thing.
Yeah, and alcohol is such a huge solvent of flavour. Almost when you keep adding that little bit of water, because a lot of the whiskies I get are 46% and higher, because that means they don't have to chill filter the whiskey, and that chill filtering can definitely loosen the complexity of that whiskey.
Right.
When I add the water, you find you get different flavours at each point. You kind of go from that more sharp flavour to that definitely more caramel kind of floral flavour.
Yeah. But some people yearn for the burn on the back of their throat, and then so the next one we're doing, it's in a month.
So in a month's time, after the event today, I'm gonna.
And are you sticking to this venue for the first run?
I think this venue works very well. I'll speak with Gez, the wonderful landlord at Grak. If anybody's listening, highly recommends you come out for an affordable pint in a very nice setting. I think you can agree.
And once the gravity's back on, that's the most refreshing lager to drink on the Gloucester Road, I'd say.
Yeah, newly released by Bristol Beer Factory.
I know the people who set that up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they played in a band with my dad back in the day.
Cool.
Stiff Little Bristols, punk band.
Very Bristolian.
Yeah, cool. And will it incorporate food to match the wine at some point?
So maybe in the future, that's something I'm looking at. I'm going to try it with this format for now. I think it's best not to overcomplicate it as such.
Yeah.
And so I've brought some sourdough, there'll be some bread, there'll be some very well sourced olive oil, some balsamic vinegar.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes down.
Brilliant, that sounds perfect.
I think it's always nice to have something. I just would rather keep the price of the ticket affordable and approachable, and I feel like the more food I add on, the more complex that becomes. I'd want to cater for all allergies and etc.
What's your tip for the best sourdough that you can get at the moment? I've heard Mark's bread is pretty special.
I live just off St Mark's Road, and they do amazing bread. I don't get it very often. I'm a big lover of rye flour, so I usually get 50-50 rye at Joe's Bakery.
Right, yeah.
But I mean,
that's what we go for. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. And I get that as a go-to, but I'd say there's all the independent bakeries in Bristol do a great sourdough. Hobbs is worth a good shout.
And Hobbs was set up by those two brothers that had that TV show, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty informative. I met them once at this food fair in the centre, and I was trying to make sourdough. It's so different. My first loaf was amazing, and then it never worked again.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's I've got a friend who shout out to Elfie if she hears this, but she makes amazing sourdough, and she gave me a huge loaf for my birthday present, and it was
a good present. Yeah. Comedian Todd Papa, he's definitely not listening to this, but he had a YouTube show where he made it. His, not his, but the Hobbs guy's advice was just tons of flour. Just don't let it stick to your basket, otherwise it'll never come out. Cool. You're happy to leave it there, and we'll just see how it goes tonight?
Yeah, perfect.
Right. Nice
we
one.
can talk afterwards.
Yeah.
Hopefully the wine tasting itself will give lots of information.
Yeah.
I've worked solely in wine for 4 years, and before that I did 6 years working at high-end hospitality, so
cool.
Hopefully I can bring lots of knowledge and stories.
Nice one, yeah. It's going to be a bit of a challenge writing-wise. First time I've done a wine tasting, but you're the right guy to be doing it, so
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I hope you enjoy it.
Cool.
See
All
you later. Thanks.
I'll see you at 7:30.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll jump back to work.
Cool.
This guy's gone.
He might.